Well, finally, after what seems like an eternity, back in the train room, doing some more work and bringing some updates. So I want to build the next level 600 millimeters wide and approximately just over 10 centimeters higher than the baseboard. So the lower level baseboard really. So building one either side will give me enough room to build a station or TMD or whatever I'm going to decide to do. I'm not 100% sure on the layout, and the reason why I'm creating the levels first is so that I can then best plan the layout and position things. So I've got some 12mm ply that I literally stripped straight down the middle, so an 8x4 sheet down the middle, and then cut some 10 centimeter strips like this so that the construction of this baseboard is the same, or at least similar to the one on the lower level. So I'm just going to put one of these together now and then build the legs and just see what it looks like, get a feel for the space, and then work out how I'm going to connect each end so that when the locos come up onto this level, they travel round into the stations, TMD, back round again, and then that they can go back down onto the main line. 4 tracks that run around the bottom. I've got my tools ready over there and I've got all the wood basically pre-cut. I'm going to try and construct it here, same method that I used with the lower level, just by gluing the edges and using some a nail gun just to put the two together. So that's one side done. Just going to do the other side and then pop the end pieces on, which I've got here. Right, here's one I made earlier, as they say, and on both of these now I've put these supporting bars in equidistantly across, and I've only nailed those from the side with a nail gun, not glued them, because if I do need to move them, it's going to be a lot easier to get that out than it is if they're already stuck down, for point motors or anything like that. So I'm going to lay this down, cut the feet, put them into place, and just see what the space feels like. So these are 610 actually, but 2 feet wide, and a similar width to those as well. They were just under, I think, seem to remember, 18 inches, 48 centimeters, 49 centimeters they were, because they were the reclaimed wood that I used. So even though I could reach the other side, of course, you know, I'm lucky enough to have access around 3 sides quite easily. Here's a little bit more problematic, but when this is out of the way, I will still be able to access that. And I've got a bit of a plan for the other end, so I can still get to the mainline track from either the viewing gallery or going around the other side of the layout, so I'm not too concerned about that. The way I've spaced them out at the minute, that gives me just over 4 feet, 133 centimeters, 52.5 inches. So there's enough room still in here to move around comfortably. And then hopefully here there's enough room for a station, TMD, whatever. So I'm going to try on the upper levels to use concrete track where possible. And I don't want 4 tracks to continually go round. So I'm probably going to have to move the whole thing that way so that I've got enough room to move around here. So I'm just going to have a juggle around with that, and then let's see where we are, and I'll discuss what I'm going to do to link the 2 up at the end. Okay, I've spent the last hour or so putting together the 2 upper level baseboards. These are now fairly solid, got adjustable feet on the bottom. The front ones I've drilled and bolted as I did with the lower level, and at the back I've basically put a block of wood that's screwed into the baseboard at the lower level and on the upper level, so that'll just stop that moving about. And again, should I want to take this apart, it's all going to be a couple of screws, bolts, whatever. So as I want to keep this area fairly free to work in, I've pushed it as far as I can this way, and I think in here we're going to have enough room to get another 600 board in that I'm going to make, that's going to fit into there. That is 195 centimeters, 4 foot 5.5. Sorry, not got my glasses on. 4 foot 5.5, which will come out again the same width as these boards. So out to there, fill the corner pieces in so that the upper level track can run all the way around the top. Now down this end, it's going to be a little bit different. Down this end of the layout, I want to leave obviously room that I can work. So if I'm sitting down here at the workstation, of course I don't want that directly in front of my face. We've also got, at the moment, from here I can reach down to the 4 tracks down on the lower level. So I want to bring the upper level around, but not as deep as I've done there, so not the 600 mil. I want to make it much shorter. So what I was thinking is that if I bring, however this station ends, down to basically into a funnel, so my 4, 6 tracks, whatever I've got in the station, down to let's say 2, I can then come round here with 2 tracks, so up and down probably, and then turn this into what is basically looks like a girder bridge. Some more wood around, and then come back round there. So round here, so So when I'm sitting down, I can see the locos going past, and the same here. That will leave me space to work in here, whilst visually still be able to see the trains go past. So sitting here, for instance, it's exactly eye level at the moment. So I think that'll work. Still gives me enough room and space to work in here to control the trains, to work on bits and pieces whilst having stuff going around, and still easily being able to see the monitors for the layout control. So I'm going to build this end round and that end, and then I think I'll have the surfaces that I need constructed. Then I can go into more depth into the way the layout is constructed, what these are going to be, make a definite plan on those, start then thinking about points, control. As I said before, it's going to be DCC, and I'm looking forward to getting that up and running. But I feel that for me to be able to do the track plan that I want to do, I need it. I need to be able to see it so I can just gauge what's going to work best. So that's the plan for now anyway. But just to show you how I've constructed this, I put this in place just to hold it in and keep it straight for now. But yes, I've bolted through there like I did on the lower level, and then underneath, screwed from the back side, are these timbers, one and another one down there, that will stop this from moving. Still got good access under here to all the cable trays, getting through underneath the layout. So hopefully using this robust style of build in one piece will, or has, minimalized the amount of legs that I've got in, again, to allow access. It does make my duck under tunnel a bit deeper, shall we say, and I'm probably gonna have to put some kind of reference up that because already I've gone underneath and stood up too early and whacked my head on that. So that's something that needs a little bit of thought. But just looking around now on the layout, that's the four tracks going all the way around. So that will continue. The last bit of track I've got to lay, connecting this side up with the other side. But they're now in. So when this area is has got a baseboard inside, then I can look at the final layout, I think, especially if I can work that bridge out at the end. Still only got one route up, which is going to be here, which I can imagine probably hooking up around here somewhere. I'm going to have to do some angles on that to bring that round so that gets on the level, and of course that's just brings the locos up or down depending which one I use it for, and then of course I need one going in the other direction as well. Now just to look at this from the other side. See, I'm fortunate enough to have space on this side, so if I need to do some work from this side, then of course no problem. And the same down this end. I'm still going to be able to reach quite easily all the way around here to do any works. This I can either integrate into hillside, or even, push that up through a tunnel, whatever, or however that works out really. Might be nice to have a bank in there where that is actually inside a tunnel. Again, I don't know. This is all stuff that I can think about. The track's laid around there. Again, from this end piece, baseboard will come in there to join those two up. corners will be similar to the way I've angled it down here. And this will make for easy access and some good scenics, hopefully. So looking down there, again, if I need to access down here, I can walk up on this viewing area and access all the way down to these points, which then I'll be able to get from that side. So hopefully I'll have enough access. Right, that wraps up another video. This one seems to have been a long time coming. Yeah, work, life just gets in the way of a hobby sometimes. It's strange. Yesterday, my daughter's granddad passed away after a lengthy battle with Parkinson's, and he was in his 80s, and thankfully passed away in the end peacefully. But today, while I was obviously thinking a lot about him, recording these videos, tinkering around on the layout, I got to thinking how just important these hobbies are, you know. And people say, oh, you know, up there playing with trains, but yeah, it is part of that, but also a big part of it is a hobby, some escapism, you know, getting away from the day-to-day life, doing something that's totally different to what you normally do, probably taking you back as well to when you were a kid. You know, a mixture of all those things, but it's a bit of quality time that you can have with yourself or friends. Terry, the guy who passed away, his big hobby was his garden. You know, I don't think he was ever happier than when he was out there in his garden. He used to grow show flowers and stuff. So that was his thing. You know, whatever yours is, make time for it and make time for yourself. Life is sometimes short, so we have to try and make the most of the time we've got and do stuff that we enjoy. That's really important. So yeah, the next video I'm going to try and get the end piece of the layout connected, so that top level's finished. I have got a few issues that I'll go into in a future episode with some of the track that I've laid. Made a few mistakes, but again, that was bound to happen. You know, I'm no model train guru, so we'll go through that at a later date and start then hopefully getting the rest of the track done, points, and all everything else, so over the coming weeks and months. So make sure you like and subscribe, really is appreciated. I think we're up to just over 800 subscribers, which is amazing. And of course, now my target is to reach that magic 1,000. And then I guess the next target will come along. But really appreciate you watching, and hopefully I'll have another video up soon. Enjoy.